Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. Yes, I know I normally talk about Doctor Who and I've gone off talking about, well, you know, UFO a bit. So, you'll be pleased to know that this time, of course, I'm going to be talking about Blake 7. Yes, I know we waited ages for any more Blake 7 to come along, and there was a box set of 4 not too long ago, and now there's another box set, and a bit like Torchwood at the moment, this is going to be a whole new series. So you've got 4 stories here. Now this marks the start of what we can only describe as the Crossfire series. It takes part in series, let's call it Season C or Series C on the BBC. That's the 3rd TV series, yeah? It's 4 stories. That's Paradise Lost by Steve Lyons, True Believers by Simon Clarke, Resurgence by friend of the show Mark Wright, Fearless by David Breyer. Yep. Now, directed by John Ainsworth and Nigel Fires. If that is how it's pronounced. Probably not. Now, this is great. Oh, I'm so sorry. There are people out there who want me to be scathing about some Big Finish releases. And you know what? When I genuinely don't like something, I'll tell you. But I can't sort the wheat from the chaff, as some people have asked me to do on Twitter, because lately I've been very impressed by the entire output, and it does sound to a lot of people like I'm just basically going, isn't everything marvellous? And well, you know what? This is marvellous. I'm over the moon to have Blake 7 back. I truly am. And because I adore the series, and I'm kind of grateful for it, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to love it. So I'm already, let's put it this way, predisposed to enjoy Blake 7. It doesn't stop me from going, doesn't quite show you're fond of that one. But not here, not in this box set. So what we've got, Paradise Lost. This is where we get the setup for Crossfire. We find out why Crossfire is called Crossfire. There will, at some point, be a civil war inside the Empire, the Federation. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting far, far ahead of myself. But you know what? Because of the casting that's listed at the bottom of the page, I am a very, very happy man. So yeah, you can kind of figure out what's going on just by reading who's in it. But let's start with Paradise Lost. Erewhon was a legendary vacation planet until it was ravaged by acid storms. A new friend brings the Liberator crew here, their objective to assassinate an old enemy, but what they find beneath Erewhon's surface will plunge the galaxy into turmoil. Yeah, it really will. This is setting up everything, but it's also a gloriously self-contained story and has the feel of, say, Avalon from the TV. I loved it. I genuinely did. The guest performances are superb. And yes, I've talked at great length about the fact that we've lost Blake and we can't have him back and we've had to recast. Well, you know what? I can live with all of these things. But it's when we get to True Believers that we end up treading on familiar territory. There's a distinct feel in the old series of concentrating on a certain character in a certain episode. You know the one. Sarcophagus is a good example. And here we've got True Believers by Simon Clarke. Simon's produced some pretty good work elsewhere, and I'm very, very pleased he's working back with us. I say us. What am I saying? You know what I mean. For us. Here's the synopsis. A mysterious voice forces Callie to a barren world where the barbarians threaten to beleaguer city There Callie joins a dangerous quest to the Singing Grave, encounters evil of immense ferocity and power. And you know, we just don't have enough of those. Callie-centric stories are what some of us out there, yearn for. She was a great and massively underused character. And it deals with some of the things that just aren't mentioned in Blake 7, like religion. It's very, very important. But then that brings us to Resurgence by Mark Wright, friend of the show. A distress signal lures the Liberator to an uncharted world where the ship systems become under attack from an outside influence. Erewhon and the crew face a spectre from the past that could destroy their hopes for the future. I'm not going to spoil it by saying who it is. I will say it's not Servalan, and that will come as a surprise to many of you. It is, of course, someone immensely powerful, in many respects more powerful than the Federation, but I'm giving you too many clues. I don't want to spoil it. I do want to say it's a storming story. It starts off with you thinking, oh, it might be a bit pedestrian, and then it moves up a gear, and you're so pleased. And it's so well structured and so well written that you can see the sets, you can see what's going on. Yes, it just works. Which brings us finally to Fearless. A criminal scheme threatens the balance of power in the Federation, and Villa's skills offer the best hope of containing the chaos. Bolstered by Callie's telepathy, he leaps into action, but when Servalan arrives on the scene, the situation quickly spirals out of control. This is a great Villa and Callie story. Because Villa's playing against type, we're seeing what his character would be like if altered slightly. Oh, the performances are superb, they're wonderful. And you know what? I'm not going to apologise for this. I simply adore this release. It's a great set of 4. It's a great way in. Yes, the individual discs were fun, but it's nice to be able to binge on something like this. Yes, it takes longer for me to get round to reviewing them all, but that's mainly because I'm spending all my time just immersing myself and enjoying them. So if you like Blake 7, you'll definitely like this. If you liked Series 3, of course you'll like this. It is interesting to note, however, that Stark Ops is coming to big finish. And with Stark Ops comes Chris. And with Chris might come some people who were possibly in Series 4, Series D of Blake 7. We'll hold our breaths and wait, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to audition for Slave. I have failed you. Perhaps. So, until next time, when I'm probably going to be talking about actual Doctor Who in the form of the 10th Doctor, or perhaps I've already talked about it, depending on how much room is left on this month's subscription of Tin Dog Podcast, well, be seeing you.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions. Blake 7. Crossfire. Part 1.
Federation blaster! That was definitely a Federation blaster! Do we have what we came for now?
Proof that the Federation has returned to Erewhon? Yes, Villa, I think we do.
What does she want?
I don't know. Does it matter? Servalan is on Erewhon, on a mission classified above top secret.
The Singing Grave. What is that?
Questions.
Well, I need to know. Is this connected with your goddess Electra?
Oh, your goddess too. Electra shines through everyone. I require input.
Input?
This unit requires input.
What kind of input? Who are you?
I require input.
Identify yourself.
The designation of this unit is Alta 6.
Avon, what's going on down there?
I finally worked out where we are. Villa, stand by to lock on and teleport us back on my signal.
On my way.
Karen, isolate all systems or we're...
Avon, come in!
What's happened to you, Villa?
Things are different now. I've changed, and I'm not going to let you win.
Critical damage to dock channel 2. Hull integrity failing. Immediate evacuation.
Help me! Help! Please, Callie! Help me!
Big Finish. We love stories.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who podcast, the Lyons.